All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Breaking news: floods have completely submerged Ibaji local government area of Kogi State. The Executive Secretary of Kogi State Emergency Management Agency, Mukhtar Atima, says as he gives warning to communities along the river bank to immediately relocate to safer grounds. Now, about a year ago, the federal government of Nigeria took a loan of $500 million to prevent occurrences like this. This is it. FG6 $500 million World Bank loan for dam safety. Others, 30th July 2024. And we've had two serious cases of dam failure since this loan was secured. This is what we've been talking about. You go and take loan for a specific purpose. At the end of the day, we are here in Nigeria. We are seeing how you have absolutely not spent a dime trying to solve that problem. And you expect things like this to be happening and we'll keep quiet? $500 million will put dam safety in place, but you didn't do anything about it. The same way you took loans to invest into education, to invest into agriculture, and we are not seeing anything on ground. This is how these people will continue taking money, dragging our currency back, drying up our crude oil because they are mortgaging the crude oil for these loans and destroying the future of this country. If Nigeria does not end the APC will end Nigeria. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that disgraceful one coming from another elected official who said he wanted to do an empowerment program. And when we thought it was a brilliant idea, no, it was the same old story. And Nigerians came down heavily on him. And next is that big one coming from the Japanese government. The Japanese government has cancelled a deal that it had with 4 African countries, including Nigeria, after the Tinubu administration lied about the details of the deal in a press statement last month. What a disgrace. Now, the lies of this administration is not only affecting Nigerians, it is now affecting other African countries. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. When some analysts were praising Shettima's speech at the United Nations General Assembly, I said a speech is not just about eloquence and how you put it together. How about the content of the speech? You cannot be saying you want a seat at the United Nations Security Council and in the same breath you are asking for debt relief. It does not add up. Watch this video.
Thank you very much. And I have listened to the Vice President as well, and quite strong and powerful presentation. Passionate appeal, almost emotional at some point, you know, echoing Nigeria's participation and presence at the global stage, which obviously are Nigeria's qualifications. But at the same breath, we're also asking for debt relief.
Yes.
So international politics is a bit tricky, I suppose. First, we have to look at the history. I mean, we discussed this last year when similar speech was delivered by President Bola Tinubu himself. And then, of course, this year, and a lot of things have changed. First, we have the Trump presidency coming on the back of the history of the United Nations itself. The United Nations Security Council is a club of the victors.
Of the World War II.
Exactly. So it were the allied powers, as it were, who came together and put the United Nations Security Council together. So it's actually a lot of power play. It started from military power.
Right.
And then now it's been played around with a lot of other powers on top. The military power is still there, and then other components, economic power, other soft powers. And I would say over the decades, the 80 years of the United Nations Security Council and about 60 years of our independence, I would say there is a progressive, unfortunately, weakening of our position on the international stage, militarily, economically, and perhaps in other spheres.
And even human rights.
Even human rights.
Because it's one of the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's a bit of contradiction sometimes, you have to project pause, you have to project power, but asking for United Nations Security Council permanent seat in one breath and asking for debt forgiveness on another breath, you are sending double signals.
Right.
You are right there putting your vulnerability out there. Perhaps one of the biggest reasons why you are not there. So I would say it was the redrawing of the global order, with the Trump presidency, the United Nations itself struggling, to...
With 40% of its funding.
Exactly.
You saw that. Now, there is something about me. I don't run with the crowd. Once I see something, I analyze it honestly and without bias. And that is how I form my opinion. As soon as Shettima's speech dropped, some people just said, it was a wonderful speech. And, others ran along with that narrative. But then I sat down and I listened to this speech. There are too many inconsistencies within the speech. And that is what that interviewee was pointing out there. And that was a former Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. So he knows exactly what he was saying there. You cannot be saying you want a position in the United Nations Security Council, and in the same speech, you are asking for debt relief. People who ask for debt relief are countries that are not yet, standing on their feet really well. And then you are asking to be in the elite company of China, America, Russia, United Kingdom. That does not make sense. And you don't become a member of the Security Council by just asking. None of those countries became a member of the Security Council because of their population. No, it was because they conquered in wars and then they have economic power. That is why they are there on that table. Then you just came and stood there and said because you are the most populated black nation in the world, they should give you a seat in that council. It does not add up at all. And what a shame that at this point as a nation, all we do is to go to the United Nations General Assembly to beg. Tinubu went there last year, and in his speech, he was begging them to come and help Nigeria and Africa. Shettima went there this year, and he was asking for debt relief, asking for more loans in the same speech. This is shameful to say the least. We have all it takes as a nation to build ourselves to whatever level we want to build ourselves. And that was what Peter Obi said. We do not need to go to these countries borrowing. We have all it takes here. We only need to get in the right people at the helm of affairs. And when we do that, we will instantly begin to drive this country to unimaginable heights. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that despicable one coming from another elected official. These people have absolutely no idea than to reduce Nigerians to beggars. And next is that very big one coming from the Japanese government. The Japanese government has cancelled a deal that it had with 4 African nations because of the lies told by the Tinubu administration. Let's start by taking that update from that official. Look at how the papers reported it. Honorable Abdullahi Sheson Olowa, I am excited to announce our plans to launch the Renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer Scheme in October, an initiative that aligns with Bola Tinubu's broader Renewed Hope agenda. At Mr. Jags, at Osongbu, at Woye, at Dayo Israel. Those are their paid commentators on X. And he said the official launch of the Renewed Hope 100,000 naira conditional cash transfer to 4,000 residents in 20 months. 100,000 naira conditional cash transfer to 4,000 residents in 20 months. Now, first of all, all their conditional cash transfer programs are always scams. But even if it is true, 100,000 naira to 4,000 people, what difference does that make in Nigeria? They don't have any other idea than to share cash. Okay, no problem. Let those 4,000 people vote for them. Those of you who didn't receive that money, don't vote for them because they are saying it's empowerment. So you have not been empowered. You should reject them since they cannot do something that will touch the lives of everybody because they lack ideas. And Oluwafemi here says, this is just wasting of resources. Make economy better for the citizens. Reduce the cost of living. When you share 100,000 naira, they use it to buy foodstuffs. Then they come back for more. This is not renewed hope. It is called renewed poverty. That is it. And BJ replied, he said 100,000 naira for 4,000 people. What of the hundreds of thousands remaining? They should go and be on standby. Mumu people making up devil's party. That is it. The APC is a devilish party. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, that big one from the Japanese government began making the rounds. Look at how the papers reported it. Japan cancels planned Nigeria community after Tinubu's government lied about visa exemption. Japanese authorities have pulled the plug on a planned initiative to improve bilateral relations between Japan and 4 African nations, including Nigeria, after the Tinubu administration lied about the details in a press statement last month. Reactions spread based on misunderstandings and confusion. GICA President Akiko Tanaka told journalists in Tokyo, the Africa Hometown Initiative will be withdrawn. Japan International Cooperation Agency is yet to recover from a misinformation campaign led by Mr. Tinubu's Foreign Affairs Information Director Abiodun Oladunjoye after he falsely claimed that Tokyo was creating a special visa category for Nigerians seeking to relocate to Kisarazu in Japan. GICA promptly denied issuing special visas to welcome African immigrants from Nigeria and Tanzania, but the statement seemed insufficient to placate angry Japanese citizens who inundated city centers with hundreds of calls per day to lash out at Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's government. Despite releasing a rebuttal to refute Nigeria's false claims in late August, concerned Japanese citizens have continued to criticize Mr. Ishiba, accusing him of planning to welcome millions of Africans and Kurds to their local communities. In the light of the situation, Mr. Akiko on Thursday cancelled the GICA African Hometown, walking back an earlier announcement to name Japanese communities Kisarazu, Nagai, Sanjo, and Imabari after Nigerians, Tanzanians, Ghanaians, and Mozambicans, respectively. This is heartbreaking. This would have been a big opportunity for these other African countries that are doing their best to pick themselves up as a nation, that are being honest with themselves. Then this Tinubu regime just went and told a lie. Why can't you just be quiet about things? Just in a hurry to sell propaganda, they went and told lies, not knowing that these other countries, they are real countries. They don't joke with such information. You don't just come and lie about diplomatic things. They got angry and cancelled it. And first of all, their citizens, the idea did not even sit well with their citizens. They don't want to have Nigerians in their country. With what this administration is doing, normal human beings will be running away from Nigerians. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet by Akinade says, if your president can make a bold-faced false claim like this, just imagine how much these foreign countries trust you, the ordinary citizens. Tomorrow, they will send EFCC to arrest some guys saying they are fighting Yahoo boys for destroying the image of the country. That is it. It's not as if anybody is supporting Yahoo boys. But if these kind of lies can be coming out of Aso Rock, how can you say it is Yahoo boys that are destroying the image of the nation? And Teso here says, no good country will want to associate with Nigeria, with very terrible leaders that don't think anything good than looting funds and killing, destroying it day by day. No day will pass without hearing terrible news in Nigeria. Wow. And Adeolu here says, what a shame. Government of propaganda and lies. That is what it is all about. Moshood here says, a criminal can never give birth to something good. Their propaganda can only work on their gullible followers, not on me and lovers of working system in Nigeria. That is the whole truth. Anybody who loves a working system in this country and anybody who is patriotic can never like the Tinubu administration. No argument about that. And this studio by Samuel says, of course, the consequences of this shambolic government will last for a long time. Completely clueless chaps baptized in mendacity. Wow. Wow. Baptized in mendacity. That is like saying you have sworn an oath never to tell the truth. You have a covenant with lying. That is what the Tinubu administration is. They lie at will, unprovoked. If not, why did that man have to go and lie about special visas? Who provoked him into saying such a thing? So that is it. All the travels of Tinubu trying to land foreign deals, all of them were failing. When he finally saw one that looked like it was going to make sense, somebody lied and cancelled it. And I said it then when they told that lie. I said, do you know that the Japanese government can get angry and even cancel the entire deal because of this lie? Some people thought maybe I was just exaggerating, but look at it. They have cancelled it. And this is how every good thing will continue to cancel for Nigeria under the APC. If we want to move this country forward, if we love this country and we desire to still have a country in the near future, we must come together, cast our sentiments aside, and get the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una na I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.